On May 10, 1996, precisely at midnight, a team of 13 people made one of the most dangerous journeys on Earth. They were heading to the summit of Mount Everest. Climbing Everest is not an easy feat. In fact, it is an adventure that most do not complete. In this journey, for example, 3 members turned back halfway because they discovered that their oxygen supply was low. At the summit of Everest, the atmospheric pressure is only a third of what it is at sea level, meaning there is only a third of the oxygen available. Without proper oxygen tanks, the risks to life are immense. However, the remaining climbers were experienced and prepared for all situations. Among them was a Japanese climber who had scaled the highest 6 peaks before Everest, and another climber, Doug Hansen, who had tried the year before but failed to reach the top. The team was led by Rob Hall, a professional mountaineer from New Zealand. Not only had he reached the summit of Everest 3 times before, but he was also the founder of Adventure Consultants, a company specializing in guiding expeditions. This was a well-prepared team, ready for anything. The team succeeded in reaching the summit of Everest, a remarkable achievement, but the real danger lay in the descent, which proved far more treacherous. As they descended, 8 climbers were caught in a sudden snowstorm. The storm disrupted all calculations. If they stopped, they would freeze and die. If they moved, they could slip, fall, or face other fatal accidents. The storm lasted for hours, and soon, communication was lost with the base camp. Rob Hall, the experienced leader, perished on the mountain, and his frozen body was found near the southern summit. Unfortunately, Everest is notorious for such tragedies. According to some sources, over 300 deaths occur annually on the mountain. Many climbers, after their attempts, return with severe frostbite, sometimes losing parts of their bodies, like noses or fingers, or even losing their sight. Despite all the preparation, the mountain itself is an unpredictable and unforgiving force of nature. It changes constantly, from its weather conditions to the surrounding terrain. Even the summit seems to mock climbers, constantly moving as if to say, "If you can climb me, show me." Everest, which is part of the Himalayan mountain range, has been rising for millions of years, and its exact height continues to change due to shifts in the Earth's crust. Its official height is approximately 8,848 meters, but this figure is not fixed. The Himalayas themselves were formed when the Indian subcontinent collided with Asia around 30 million years ago, creating the majestic range of mountains. Mount Everest, the highest peak in this range, continues to grow taller every year due to the ongoing tectonic activity. This constant movement means that the mountain's height is always increasing, even if by just a few centimeters every year. Everest is located at the border between Nepal and Tibet, and it has been a sacred place for the Sherpa people, who have lived in the region for about 500 years. Their religious beliefs see the mountain as a place where the gods reside, and climbing it requires spiritual rituals and permission from deities. The Sherpas have become expert guides, helping climbers navigate the dangerous terrain. The name, Everest, itself came from the British surveyor George Everest, who was honored posthumously in the 19th century. Before this, the mountain was known by various names, depending on the local cultures. The Sherpas call it Chomolungma, meaning Mother Goddess of the World, while the Tibetans refer to it as Sagamatha, meaning forehead in the sky. Climbing Everest requires careful preparation, both physically and mentally. The journey to the summit begins in April or May, the best months for the ascent because the weather is more stable. Climbers can choose between 2 main routes, the southern route, which begins in Nepal, and the northern route, which begins in Tibet. Both routes are challenging and require moving through multiple base camps, each higher than the last. At around 8,000 meters, climbers enter what is known as the death zone. In this zone, oxygen levels are so low that the body can no longer function normally without supplemental oxygen. Climbers can become disoriented, suffer from dizziness and headaches, and experience extreme fatigue. The thin air affects the muscles, heart, and brain, making every step more difficult. At this height, the risk of death increases significantly, and climbers must be prepared for the physical and psychological challenges of the climb. For many, Everest is the ultimate test of human endurance, but it is also a place where many have lost their lives in the pursuit of reaching the top.